First and foremost, Oj Simpson passes away from prostate cancer. Chris, how do we feel about OJ, man? What's your takes on OJ Simpson?
Uh, man, definitely one of the more polarizing people in my lifetime for sure.
Right.
It's crazy because in my lifetime, obviously I didn't get to experience OJ as the football player. Um, really not even much of OJ trial, because obviously being so young, but
Yeah.
just knowing what you know about the story as far as um his eliteness on the field, transitioning from that to being an entertainer, and then
Hmm.
obviously the unfortunate circumstances surrounding the death of his wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and a friend of hers, Ron Goldman. And so,
Hmm.
yeah, like I said, for sure, one of the more polarizing people in our lifetime. Obviously, you know, very probably at that time again, having not been able to experience it personally, but just knowing what I know about it and seeing what I've seen about it, very divisive at that time in terms of like, it being split down the middle in terms of how Black America felt about O.J. Simpson versus the country as a whole. And so, yeah, no, definitely polarizing, definitely, a larger than life personality, a larger than life story, and uh condolences to his family, man. What did you think when you heard it? What did you think?
I was, it caught me by surprise because I know he had just started doing more interviews, started getting back into the public eye, started appearing more regularly on It Is What It Is podcast with Mason Cameron. So I thought that was an interesting dynamic. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really dope. I just think like OJ Simpson, he was a hell of a football player. He was probably one of the first to run for over 2,000 yards in a season when he played for the Houston Oilers back in the 70s. So he was somebody that really changed the game as a running back, and one of the more prolific ones when they first started in the 70s with football, and with the Houston Oilers, he kind of put them on the map. But I think in the 90s, with everything about the death of his girlfriend and Rod Goldman, he was found acquitted. And I think a lot of times, like, we focus on, okay, well, did he do it? Did he not do it? He was found acquitted. He was found not guilty. He didn't, they acquitted him. Now, people can say, oh, well, it was because, the Rodney King stuff, that was payback. Or it was because it is what it is. Like, he was found not guilty. He was found acquitted. You know, that's dead and gone. Like, whoever did it, but they kept harping that like as like it's something that he did or what. He was found not guilty and acquitted in the court of law. Like, that shouldn't be his only hang up in life is, oh, he allegedly killed these people. No, he was found acquitted. Like, stop talking about it. So I think I think that you know if he did or he didn't do it, we'll never know. I think he won. They won that case fair and square. He was found acquitted. It is what it is. I just think that that little slither of that's something that happened to him in the '90s that he was involved in, kind of became his whole life, because he got into more trouble, got into more issues,
Right.
and it was somebody that was an actor, an individual that played football in the National Football League, somebody that was you know
He was a
um
sideline reporter too after he retired.
yeah. Yeah, so he had a lot of different things that he was a part of, and I kind of just think they always just put like, oh well, he killed, his ex wife, his and her boyfriend or whatever. But it's like he was found acquitted and he found not guilty, and to me it's just like, yo, if it wasn't guilty, wasn't acquitted, then why are we talking about it? Like, why do we continuously bring that up? So I think for me personally, like, I think OJ, because he played in the Naked Gun series, like that was a movie that came out in the late '80s, early '90s with him and Leslie Nielsen. He played like a comic relief character, and I enjoyed those movies. I enjoyed him as an actor. I just think that shouldn't be the only thing we harp on when we talk about his legacy. That, oh yeah, he was the individual involved. Well, he was involved. then we don't know if he was involved or not. We don't know. He was found acquitted, so we don't even know. So I think that's something that we shouldn't be harping on when we're talking about him. That's something that happened. His ex-wife died, and you got to think about he got kids and everything like that. That went through that trauma with him, and still get caught. Oh, your dad killed your mom. How do you feel about that? And it's like, how they supposed to know? The dude, everybody said he didn't do it. Like nobody knows.
I
So
can't even
I don't know. I just
imagine the relationship that they would have with him at this point, you know?
bro. And the crazy thing is, well, from what I heard, he had all his children sign NDAs. So I don't know what that's
Wow.
about. But I never heard of somebody having their children sign NDAs before they pass.
Now you tell me, like, why?
Crazy.
Because he was found guilty civilly in terms of responsibility for the death of his
Yeah,
wife.
I mean,
So why would like why is that? Like, why would he be found guilty civilly?
you
But
don't you don't need the same amount of evidence for to be found civilly liable for something than to be found guilty of something in criminal law. You know what I mean? Like criminal, you need to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. If there's any doubt, you're either not guilty or you're going to be acquitted of all trial of all charges, or it's going to be a mistrial.
right,
Now, with a civil trial, you just need a preponderance of evidence. You need that, like, okay, we kind of believe you can use hearsay, like whatever can kind of get you to that point. Like you can, like, yeah, of course he's going to be sued for liable damages because that was his wife. That was it happened in his house. Of course they're gonna sue him. He's the only one that they can sue at this moment in time. What are they gonna sue the police? The police agency? No, they're gonna sue him.
right.
So I mean, yeah, he was found guilty in civil court, but that really doesn't mean anything. A lot of people get found guilty in civil court for stuff, and it has nothing to do with the criminal side of it. We see it all the time when people say, "Oh, this person raped me," but they sue him in civil court. But what you didn't want to do anything in the criminal side? What happened on the criminal side? Oh, he was found not guilty, but I want them to pay for my damages. I want them to pay for my issues or what's been going on. So you'll see that all the time. That really doesn't mean a whole lot
Okay.
because a lot of celebrities get sued in civil court all the time.
Okay. No, I was just definitely just curious because obviously, like you said, unfortunately, it's the stain that kind of follows him around. People don't even really talk about his legacy as a player, or like you mentioned, even some of the things he's done as far as acting. That's really not even um what comes up in conversation. And like you said, he did unfortunately find himself in other circumstances that did put him in jail. Um, but even then, just because you go to jail for something one time usually doesn't discredit you for a lot of the stuff that you did prior to. But needless to say, it's still prayers out to Nicole Brown's family, Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman's family, obviously, because they lost their lives. Still an
Yep.
unsolved murder to this day. Um, but definitely, it's unfortunate that that has to be the number one thing behind him. Um, because like you said, he put a team on the map, a team that was unknown prior to that,
Yep.
or didn't have much of a legacy, I should say, prior to that. And he was a Heisman Trophy winner too, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yep.
he had a great
Yep.
college career as well. Like, it's no reason to not touch on those things when you talk about OJ Simpson in totality. And again, to another one of your points, man. Great points, by the way. The fact that he was getting to get a little bit more of a spotlight on It Is What It Is, so that like he could talk about sports more and discuss stuff like that, as opposed to just being this dude with this mystique around him. I thought that was dope for sure. Like I liked seeing how they incorporated OJ on their show.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said before, he was getting these opportunities. He was getting more back in the spotlight. He was, being a little bit okay with, going back into that environment and, trying to, speak his mind and do what he had to do. But the negative stigma just followed him. But like you said, prayers and condolences to his family. Prayers and condolences to the Brown to the Brown the Simpson Brown family and Ron Goldman's family. Hopefully they find justice whenever that may happen. But he's dead and gone now, and nothing anybody can really do at that point. Like, he's dead. It is what it is. He had prostate cancer. He died from that, and we just got to move on and think about what he did when his legacy when it came to the game of football. How he played.
Yeah.
I just need to think about that. At him and that, as being sports fans, we need to. I can separate that from saying, like, all right, maybe this guy wasn't the most upstanding person, but he had a hell of a football career. He was one of the better running backs at that time.
Right.
So I can give him credit for that, while saying he might have made some bad decisions and had some run-ins with the law. But I can distinguish between the two. It's like when it's in the media, it's like, oh, everything comes down. Oh yeah, he was this, he was that. But we're gonna still put him as a horrible person. Like, damn, that's all y'all gonna get us, man.
See it too many times, man. Especially with people like athletes and things like that. Athletes, entertainers. It's unfortunate. I got a name right off the top of my head, but I ain't gonna go there because that'll be changing subjects. But yeah, no. Shout out to OJ. Prayers to OJ.
Yep.
Shout out to his family. Prayers to his family. Condolences, of course, and wishing the best for everybody. Rest in peace.
Absolutely. Rest in peace to OJ.